All right, hey everybody, welcome to Midweek Online tonight. I'm here with our two brand new interns. We've got Ingrid over here, Mitchell over here. And listen, if you were not at, hold on, I guess I can say it this way, because last night we had the senior celebration and the juniors and seniors were there for the meal afterwards. You might have come for the walk around thing, which is great, but we had a special invite only for juniors and seniors. And at that time, we introduced the interns to them. So juniors and seniors, they found out. But tonight, you're finding out about our two new interns. And so if you didn't know, then surprise, they are here. Yay. And there's some cool things about both these interns. Because number one, they both grew up at our church in our youth ministry. And so they know our church, they know our youth ministry. We know them well. It's a really cool thing. But you may not know them well yet. And so here's what we're going to do. Play a game. And the game is called, hold on. That was my phone. These live videos, they're so crazy when they're live like this, but you just got to roll it. Okay, so we're going to play a game that is called Get to Know the Intern Better, and you guys are going to help us do that. So you got 15 seconds to tell us as much about yourselves as you can. Countdown timer will be on the screen, and once 15 seconds is up, it's going to be done. Ingrid, first or second?
Second.
Okay, Mitchell, that means you're going first. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, on your mark, get set, go.
I wear hearing aids. I got like 4 injuries at Panorama when I was here. This is going to be my first summer in this kind of branch of the building. I was born in San Antonio, Texas. I just got my bachelor's degree at Abilene Christian University. Go Wildcats. I know there are 4 of y'all going there. And then I got it in theater.
Okay, your time's up. Okay, very nice. Okay, you had 7 things, and that includes the 4 people going to ACU, so that's great, but that's 7 things. Ingrid, if you can top 7, you win tonight's game of Best Intern of the Night. So there you go. Right. So, again, 15 seconds, as many things as you want to, and on your mark, it's set, go.
Okay, so I'm Ingrid Cuero. I went to Consol. I am a Latina. I don't like chocolate. I like strawberries. I don't like Mitchell. I like water. I love water bottles. I like purses. I have.
You got it. That's 9 in 15 seconds. There you go.
No.
And
yes.
As we begin, I don't like Mitchell, so I'm glad I'm between y'all. This may be a really bad summer. Or
I told stories. She listed things.
That's hilarious. Okay, so again, Mitchell, Ingrid both grew up this youth ministry. They have done all the stuff we've done. They've done the Cornerstone, the Uplift, the mission trips, the Panorama, all those things. And so I thought you might have some kind of memory, because as seniors graduate, we always say, hey, what's a memory of growing up in this youth group that you have? But what about you guys? What's a memory that you have looking back that just kind of stands out to some of the others that while you're in your time here? So Ingrid, let you go first.
Well, for me, it would be Powerpuff. I lost his 1 year, my senior year of
Is that the only year you lost?
Yes,
Wow. Okay,
yeah,
that's good.
It was,
nice.
It was cool, but no, it wasn't cool. But
so out of the 6 years you spent in youth ministry, your favorite memory is the year you lost Powderpuff?
My favorite year is not that, but at the same time, but at the same time it is, because it's like, okay, I need to be humble, you know?
Okay, that's good. I'm glad God could humble you in that loss of Powderpuff, but the rest of you are victorious, so that's great. Okay, Mitchell, a good memory, something stands out to you.
I think my favorite thing we ever did was whenever it rained and poured, like it did today, we would get a bunch of guys together and we would go play mud sports, either football or ultimate frisbee or soccer, something that would we would come home really gross and our parents would be like, what did you do? That was always really fun because it was always on the spot, on the fly.
Yeah. And there was some of those times. So Mitchell lived about a block away from me for a lot of his years. I guess all through high school, middle school as well. Yeah. And there was a field not far from our house in a park, and that park. Our youth group made an impression on that field, the soccer field, because it was just muddy and messed up. And
the grass is yet to grow back.
Yeah, it's not really the same as it ever was, and unfortunately, that's because of us. So anyway, but yeah, good memory. So okay, that's great. Okay, the final thing tonight is, the final thing for now is a test for each of you, and the test is going to be, can you make a spiritual application to the video that I'm going to show you? So here is the first video. So I'll let you watch it first of all. Okay, so this guy, he jumps, he sees a snake in the water, he goes and jumps, and he hits hand first, so he grabs the snake before his body hits the water, and then comes out with the snake in his hand. So outside of it just being a really fun video and crazy and something I would never do, you got to be absolutely crazy to try that. But if you do try it, Number one, you didn't learn it from us. Number two, we really want the video. So please send the video of that happening. Okay, Ingrid, can you make a spiritual application to that video?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
honestly, God gives us the strength to get crazy things from people's lives and yank it out of them. And so, so that's...
God can help us get crazy things in people's lives and yank it out of them. You heard it here first from Ingrid. Okay, Mitchell, a spiritual illustration for that.
Sometimes wading in the water, there's going to be something dangerous that's going to bite you and attack you. But Jesus, 2,000 years ago, decided to jump and grab that dangerous thing and hold it above and triumph. And the Holy Spirit's like laughing from behind. It's like, ha, good one, Jesus. I think that's pretty
Okay.
awesome.
I think both of you passed on that one, so that's good. You can stay in turns. However, you got one more test to come up to make sure you can stay in turns. So here you go. This is the next video, so take a look at this one. Some music to go with it. Okay, so this little girl dancing around, clapping, waving her hands, all the things. And so the question is, what in the world could be a spiritual application to that? Mitchell, you're up first.
Sometimes you're just walking around in circles all day long. But the really great part about life is you get to clap along to the rhythm of Jesus and just like celebrate.
Okay, very good. Mitchell's brought in Jesus to both the
Yes.
videos, which totally didn't have any place in those videos, but you managed to bring it in, so that's really good. Okay, Ingrid, you got something.
Yes. Well, I guess it would just always be joyful and not caring of what people think when you dance.
Okay, I'll buy that because, that girl, she's definitely joyful. And at that point, I don't think she cared. And yet, it's enough to make it on the internet and on the webs and let people see it. So that's good. Okay, so like we said, this is the first night for Ingrid and Mitchell to be here with us and as a part of Midweek Online. And we don't know how many more weeks we're doing Midweek Online. We think at some point there's going to be the opportunity to maybe gather together in some places, but it's not up to us. And so there are powers that be among the state hierarchy of people, namely governor people and important people like that make some of those decisions for us. And so, actually, they don't make the decision for us. We get to choose what we do. It's a free country. Thank goodness for that, and thank God for that. But, however, we're being respectful of some things they say and also respectful of everyone's safety. So we do think that with June arriving, we're going to be able to do some things, some more outdoor things. Last night was really, really cool. If you were able to come, I hope you were, for the senior celebration. It was awesome. Out in the parking lot, all the seniors had a tent. Their families were under. Got to walk around and say hi to them, and it was fun. And then just a really cool thing. We proved we could do stuff outside, and it was good. So we'll try to do some outdoor stuff with youth ministry and try to do that. As we know, summer camps have been canceled. A lot of school stuff and summer camps for schools have been canceled too. Sports camps canceled. All that stuff has changed. However, and this is one of the things we prayed about this morning, was just the thing that we're praying that God would show us some things in this summer that would make us thankful that COVID-19 affected our summer in the way it did. And so that it can be so exciting and so good, and maybe exciting is not the best word, but things we can learn and ways God can grow us that are just going to change our lives forever. And so, so that's some things we're thinking about for that. Okay, let's do birthdays real quick because we have some birthdays that are coming up. So here we go. Tomorrow, first birthday is Ashlyn McCulley, and so her birthday is tomorrow. Followed by that, the end of this month, last day of this month, Annabelle Gray, and then on June 1st, Ethan Lestraps and Jaden Dacus. So if you know those people, which you should, call them, text them, tweet them, mail them something, say happy birthday to them in some way because their birthday, and we're excited for them to get to celebrate birthdays and be another year older. So speaking of another year older, there was something that got a year older, and at that point we decided it was time to be done with it. And Mitchell and Ingrid spent a lot of time in this bus, and then it was gone. So listen, we've tried to bring up the bus as much as we can in every midweek or online video, intersection online video we can. And so once again, we did. And a look at our next bus as well. So that's exciting for you to see what that's going to be like. We got a great deal on it. Should be here in a month or two. So can't wait for that. All right. Okay, so we're going to take a break right now and go to a video we want you to see and take a look at this, and then we'll come back on the other side of that video. So please enjoy this. Okay, I think that went okay, but I realize it's your first time to do this. You've got to have more expression. There are students out there watching that they're going to turn this off or keep it on based on if you look like you're interested or not. So
I can't help that Ingrid doesn't have any energy to put forth.
Okay.
Like, that's actually not
okay, so this has gone too long already. We've only been here a few days, and y'all are arguing. It is not okay to do that, so please stop. However, can you stop burping out loud in the video? Yeah, because it's really rude, and it's going to be picked up on the microphone.
Yeah.
So just a thing. So
Sorry,
anyway,
I'm sorry.
okay, all right, ready to go back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right, and 3, 2, 1. All right, great. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that video and a lot of things that we just want to show and send your way this week with that. Okay, so tonight we have a teaching video, and the teaching video is, again, going to be from the series called Eyes Wide Open. And you guys, I want to tell you a few things about it. So for the last 2 weeks, thank you. Something's changed. You're very expressionful. That's good, Mitchell. We're proud of you. The Eyes Wide Open series has been a great video that talks about don't just go through life not aware of what's going on around you. To live through life and to go through life, wake up every day and you get up and you used to go to school, now you get up and you do homeschool, and now we get up and do summer, and you brush your teeth and you go, you get dressed, you go through all the motions of the day, and then you go to bed at night and you wake up the next day and do it all again. And if you're not careful, you kind of realize that I'm not really thinking about what's going on here. I'm concerned about my friends at school, or I'm concerned about grades, or I'm concerned about what car that my parents are dropping me off to school in, or I'm concerned about, do I get a new cell phone sometime? I'm concerned about what shoes do I have? Like all these things that are so worldly, they take our mind, they take our energy, they take our thoughts. And instead, God is saying, hey, don't miss what's going on here. Don't miss that every single day the sun rises and the sun sets. Don't miss that every day I've got the world perfectly positioned to sustain life. Don't miss the fact that the God who loves you and is crazy about you is living with you through his Holy Spirit. Don't miss these things, and don't miss out on how the world and Satan are going to try to pull you away from God every chance that they get. And so the series is called Eyes Wide Open, about don't go through life with your eyes shut. And so today's video is going to be the third and the final one of that series. Again, I want you to notice that in this video, there are things that you'll see, different things that pop up, either verses or quotes on the screen. And the very first one is one by C.S. Lewis. And you'll notice that it's a quote that talks about Jesus had to either be really who he said he was or had to be crazy. Because the claims he made about himself and the things he said about himself were either that of a lunatic or truly were the Son of God. And I want you to really think about that and watch the bridge in this. There's a few quotes that we'll come back and talk about at the end. And then tonight, when this is all over, we are going to send you some questions that you can use on your own to just grow in your own personal quiet time with God, and that you'll be able to use for that. And that'll be really cool that we'll send to everybody for that. So, okay. So with that, we are going to send you straight to the Eyes Wide Open video right now, and hope you enjoy this. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, and we will wrap this up, and some great stuff coming. So here you go.
Too many of us are walking through life with our eyes shut. We need to live with our eyes wide open. There is no other figure in history that has had more effect on our world than Jesus. Without Jesus, Christianity means nothing. There's no other world religion that is so dependent on one person in history. And here's the first thing that you need to know. You're going to think this is so simple, but this is a truth that sometimes we forget. We talk about Jesus like we talk about the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus, and that's not the case. Do you realize that Jesus was a man, flesh and blood, just like you and me, tangible person in history? This is a historical fact, just like this bridge behind me. You can see it, you know it's there. That's not the question. And I think before we even start, you got to realize that Jesus was a man in your history. Although we know Jesus was a man, he was definitely not any normal man. He made some claims that no one has ever made in history. Jesus actually claimed to be God. In John 14:11, Jesus' words, he says, "Believe me that I am in the Father and the Father is in me." Earlier in John 10:30-33, we see Jesus where he says these words, "I and the Father," talking about God, are one. And that's when the Jews picked up stones and they were about to stone him. And Jesus is like, man, which miracle are you going to be stoning me for? And then 33, the Jews answered, for good work we do not stone you, but for blasphemy, because you, being a man, make yourself out to be God. See, this is the reason that everybody got upset by Jesus. This is the reason that Jesus was killed, is because this man was claiming to be God. And it was clearly a claim that everyone understood. A mere man who claimed to be God. When a mere man claims to be God, man, he better have some incredible proof. The resurrection is that proof. Here's the deal. I'm going to save some of you a lot of time right now. Some of you that have been asking about Jesus, you've been considering it, maybe you haven't. You wonder what this is all about? This is the whole point. If Jesus didn't raise from the dead, then Christianity falls apart. You don't have to worry about all the moral code and the commandments and all this thing. Everything depends on Jesus rising from the dead. And Paul said to the church in Corinth in 1 Corinthians 15:14, and if Christ has not been raised, then our preaching is useless, and so is your faith. So if the resurrection is the whole point, here's the deal, here's the truth. People do not rise from the dead. That is not normal. And so I think that a logical and a fair question is, did Jesus rise from the dead? And see, here's the deal. This is why I love Thomas, one of Jesus' followers, had been following, had given his life to serve Jesus the 3 years that he was there. And Thomas asked the question, when he hears about Jesus raising from the dead, some of the disciples had seen it, but Thomas had not. And he said this in John 20:25. So the other disciples were saying, we've seen the Lord. But Thomas said to them, unless I see in his hands the imprint of the nails, and put my finger into the place of the nails, and put my hands into his side, I will not believe. After 8 days, his disciples were again inside. Thomas was with them, and then Jesus came. The doors having been shut, stood in the midst and said, peace be with you. And then he said to Thomas, reach here with your finger and see my hands, and reach here with your hand and put it into my side. And do not be unbelieving, but believing. And this Thomas answered and said to him, my Lord and my God. See, Thomas understood that this was a big question. If Jesus was the Son of God, then it changed everything. Jesus said to him, to Thomas, because you have seen me, have you believed? Blessed are they who did not see and yet believed. Now, a lot of you are saying, yeah, man, if I could see Jesus, because that's a big deal. See him risen from the dead, see his nail-scarred hands, and I would totally believe, I'd totally be in, sell out. See, I don't think Jesus was talking about us. I think he was talking about everybody before Thomas. Those people that had never seen Jesus, before Jesus was around. See, I believe Jesus stands before you right now, and he says, hey, look, here it is. Here's the proof. Here's the evidence. You weigh it for yourself. Why do I say that? Because the resurrection is a historical event. Remember, Jesus was a man who claimed to be God, and his resurrection falls in our past. Now, this might surprise you, but this is what historians, scholars would agree on. Christian, non-Christian alike, the majority would say these are historical facts. 1, Jesus died. 2, Jesus was buried. And 3, the tomb was empty. Do you realize that Christianity started in the very same city that condemned Jesus to die? Now, how could that happen? Because all of them knew where he was buried. They could just say, hey, that's enough. Look, there's his body right there in the tomb. The reason is because his tomb was empty. fourth thing is that people saw Jesus after he had risen from the dead. Do you realize people agree on this? There were so many of them, that's why. Not only his disciples, his apostles, but over 500 people saw Jesus after he had risen from the dead. That's an amazing fact that we don't realize is historical. The fifth historical fact is that people's lives were radically changed. Those disciples that followed Jesus, all but one of them were killed for their faith. Here's the deal. People do not die for something that they know is a lie. And it wasn't just people who loved Jesus before. Lives were radically changed that were enemies of Jesus. Paul, who persecuted Christians before he had a face-to-face encounter with Jesus. Jesus' own brothers, James and Jude, who actually have 2 books in the Bible that you read, claim that he is the Son of God, saw him again. And can you imagine convincing one of your siblings that you are actually God himself? And that's why, just like Thomas, Jesus stands before us. And when Thomas had his question answered, he was one of those that was killed for his faith. Now Jesus stands before you. All this historical evidence, you're no longer the ones that don't see, you're the ones that see. The question is, are you opening your eyes? And what do you believe? And just like a bridge, you can know that it's strong, you can know how much it can hold, you can know where it leads, you can know that it leads to somewhere that you could not get without it. All that is great, but faith is stepping out on the bridge. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father, no one has a relationship with God, except through me. So please, don't take my word for it. Hear His words, weigh His words, and know what you believe about Jesus for yourself. Open your eyes.
Okay, yeah, open your eyes. Trust Jesus for who He says He is. Know that that He really is one. Once you open your eyes and see that and really see life for what it is, then you see who Jesus is. You see that He really is the Son of God that really did come to this earth. So one of the things John talked about in the Gospel of John, again, John was an eyewitness to Jesus. He was one who really did see Jesus on this life, and then he wrote about it and took the time to write stuff to us. And he said the things that about Jesus was the Son of God, that He did perform the miracles only by God's power, that He claimed not just to be a good person or a nice person, but He really did claim to be the Son of God. And people believed in it or didn't believe in it, and it was up to them to choose that. And so I hope you heard some things from that, because that was really good. So yeah.
I mean, what I liked about it is whenever he said faith is stepping out of onto the bridge. Mm-hmm. And so how like God wants us to like know that He will catch us, you know, like He won't just like allow us to just like walk and just not know anything. Like, no, He has our hand.
Yeah. And you would never step onto a bridge and, use a concrete bridge we trust, but a rope bridge, something like that, you would never step onto it unless you really believed that it would hold you. And to have the faith that it's going to. And Jesus as the bridge from earth to heaven is the one who is that bridge for us, and it's one we have to walk onto if we're going to have a relationship with God. And, He talked about John 14:6, I'm the way and the truth and the life. Mm-hmm. And at the end, I don't know if you heard this or not, but right at the end, He said, don't just take the guy in the video, don't take his word for it, but listen to what Jesus says about Himself. And really this comes down to, do you believe what Jesus says about Himself or not? Yeah. And that goes back to the C.S. Lewis quote at the beginning. So
one of the great things in that video that stood out to me, though, was the fact that, like, in the times of Jesus, like, Christianity started in the same place that Jesus was crucified and condemned to be something less than. Yeah,
that city where the people were that were saying, crucify Him, is the very place that Christianity began, because they saw the empty tomb. They knew that He had raised the dead. They knew there was something about this guy, and people don't come back from the dead. Right. And He did, and most incredible thing. And so, that's pretty fascinating about Jerusalem and just the thoughts behind that. So that's cool. Okay, so we are going to make sure that you get questions, that you can unpack a little bit more of this on your own. Again, growing on your own, not just being spoon-fed your faith. And so we love it to get to be together in times of worship. We love Bible studies. We love videos like we just showed you tonight. but we also want you to be able to grow on your own. And some of that takes getting your Bible and getting a pen and paper and spending time with God on your own and learning what He might have for you with that. So, all right, speaking of videos, earlier we just received word while this video is playing that maybe the video we were going to show you at the beginning of this, when we were all kind of talking, didn't play, and you kind of got some of us talking. And I just want to apologize for some things that I might have said to Ingrid and Mitchell both, and I feel horrible about that. And so please just offer my forgiveness, and I'll do my best to do better. Okay,
Sorry.
thanks. Ingrid, waiting on you. Any apologies you need to make?
Sure.
Okay, thanks. Thanks. Appreciate your heartfeltness there. That is great. So, okay. So tonight we are doing Zoom bingo. It's ultimate bingo because the way we play bingo with our youth group is just a little bit different than everybody else. So some of you guys joined us on Sunday night, and Caroline Coyle, along with Cal and Patty Livingston, all three won gift cards to Chick-fil-A on that night. We have some more gift cards to give away tonight, and so join us for Zoom bingo. If you got bingo cards in the mail, use them. If not, there will be a link in the Zoom chat, and I will give it to you so you can find your own online bingo cards and fill that out as we play. But it's going to be good. Ingrid will be there. Mitchell will be there. I will be there, and it's going to be fun. So, yeah. Okay, Intersection Online will be Sunday night. We'll be back with our seniors on Sunday night, introducing some of them and letting them get to know you a little bit. And other than that, we are done. Hey, we are so glad Ingrid's here. Ingrid, welcome to youth group for the summer. It's going to be great.
I'm excited.
Before long, we're going to be in person. It's going to be awesome. Mitchell, same thing to you. So thankful both of y'all are here. And thankful you watched tonight, tuned into Midweek Online. So remember, God loves you. Most important thing you can know is that right there. And most important thing you can do is to love Him back. So love Him back well this week. We love you. We miss you. We can't wait to all be back together again. We'll see you on Zoom. Please go on there and join us, and we'll see you there in just a moment. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.